Welcome back to Radio for Us. I am Tom, 2 Echo 0 Kilo Oscar Fox. And there is an event at the weekend for which I require a 2-meter antenna. So let's make something. So today we're building the pretty tried and tested, well-known Flowerpot antenna. I've done a little graphic here to show what we're doing. But you've got the 25mm conduit, a string at the top to hold a wire upright, which will be soldered to some coax, which will then have 9 turns to create a choke, and that will have a connector to go to the radio. Super simple, super easy, super affordable. Just want to give credit to Mike M0MSN, who has a fantastic video of him building this antenna. He does a much better job than I'm going to do in this video. I highly recommend checking it out. Link will be in the description. So what do we need? First and foremost, you're going to require wire and coax. I'm using 18 gauge. This is just like an automotive black and red that I'm going to split and just use one side of, probably the red side. You're going to require some string for that top bit there to keep the wire upright. Some 25mm outer diameter PVC pipe or conduit. I bought a 3-meter length from Screwfix in the UK for £2.99. Get it in black or white. I just thought black looked a little bit neater. A PL259 connector. A variety of heat shrink sizes. A pen. Some electrical tape. And I've chosen to 3D print some end caps for the conduit. Completely optional. You can absolutely do it without. If you want to 3D print the same that I designed, I will throw these on Thingiverse and leave a link in the description below. Really standard tooling for this. Tape measure, drill, a means of cutting cable. I'm going to use the wire cutters on some pliers, some wire strippers, a soldering iron, and a means of shrinking the heat shrink. So first things first, let's cut some of our cable. And now the final length of this is going to be 45.7 centimeters, 457mm. We're going to cut a bit long, so I'm going to cut about 60 centimeters just to give myself a nice amount to play with. We will split this down. Now, could theoretically use either side. I'm going to use red so it's nice and visible against the coax, make our life a little bit easier. And let's just strip back one end of that, like so. Next, take our spool of coax and prep the end. I'm using Mini 8, use what you like. Your coax preference is up to you. Fold that braid back on itself and give ourselves a little bit of that center conductor to solder onto, maybe slightly more than that. And then just to absolutely ensure that that braid cannot make contact with that center conductor, we'll just push a little bit of heat shrink over that and melt her down. Cool, that is not looking too bad. While that soldering iron heats up, we can just get a little bit of a mechanical connection on that copper there by feeding it through itself and then giving it a nice twist. Careful not to melt the other end of that on the soldering iron. Yeah, that'll do, something like that, something like that. And then we cake that connection in solder, like so. Let's put a bit more on there, I want to make sure it's a really nice connection. Far from my best ever solder job, but that absolutely should work. And again, we'll just feed some heat shrink over and make sure that connection is nicely covered up. That'll do us. So we've now got a length of cable soldered to the center pin of the coax, all heat shrinked. The braid brought back on itself, also heat shrinked, and then that just goes down to the spool. So now let's cut off a nice long length of coax. And that should do us. Slight change of camera angle. We need to measure out the conduit. So decide which end's going to be the top. I reckon that'll be the top for me. And we are going to measure 45.7 centimeters, 457 millimeters. So for me, that is there. We're then going to add 2 centimeters. 1, 2, 45.7, 46.7, 47.7. And we're going to put a mark right there. So I don't know if you can see it from that distance, but I'll hold it close for you in a second. So from that second mark we just made, we'll move that all up. We now want to measure 44.7. So we'll hold the tape measure there. 44.7 is right there. Oh, this mark is not brilliant, but it's enough of a mark that I know where to drill. So, end of the conduit, down 45.7 centimeters, you've got a mark there. 2 centimeters down, you've got another mark, and from that second mark, 44.7, you've got that mark there. And that's where we're going to drill a hole. So we'll start with a nice small hole, and then we can enlarge it with a stepped drill bit. You can just use a normal drill bit and go straight to the hole size you want. Yeah, lovely job, that fits beautifully. Now, we take the wire, the coax and the cable. Try to straighten that coax out, and from that solder point, we need that magic number again, 44.7. I'm going to use some electrical tape because marking on black coax isn't the easiest thing in the world. That magic number, 44.7. So 44.7 is there. Double check, double check. Always measure twice. So from there, down, trying to keep that straight for accuracy. 44.7, pretty spot on. We now want to feed all of this through that hole up towards the top. And you can see we've now got the coax with the solder joint and that red cable poking out the top. Back to the table. So there's our solder joint, there's that red cable, and from, let's try and prop this up with a chair so it doesn't go skew with. From that solder joint, we want 45.7, which this table isn't actually quite big enough. I can make it work. I can make it work. So 45.7 is right there. No going back now. From the solder joint, 45.7, absolutely spot on. This feels like a good opportunity to cut a length of string. We'll take that knot off. And we want to try and securely attach it, as securely as possible, attach it to the end of this wire. So I'll do 2 knots and then absolutely cover it in electrical tape. It actually already feels quite sturdy, but can't be too safe. Let's just cover that in some electrical tape. We can snip that off. I've taken a bit too much electrical tape. And just, yeah, lovely. That feels nice and strong. Now, if you're using my 3D printed caps for the conduit, you'll see one's got a hole in it. That's the top. That's to feed that thread through. Now, I've gone slightly thick on the thread. That's going to be tricky. So what I'm going to do is just put a bit of thin sewing thread down first. Okay, yeah, bit of sewing thread down first. Then we'll feed the end of our main string through there and use that sewing thread to pull that string through. Lovely, lovely, lovely. And let's not let that fall off. We're back on the floor. We now want to pull this coax back through this hole very carefully. Nice and slowly until we just see, there, the start of that tape. Cool. So we now want to do 9 turns. So we've got 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Sorry, this is 8. And that should be 9. So you seeing that? You seeing how we got 9 turns? So I'm now going to drill another hole there where the 9th turn would be, and then we'll feed this back inside. And I'm going to drill another hole a bit further down to feed the coax back out of to go to the radio. So I reckon about there. I want this hole nice and big. That should do. So let's fix these windings because they're a bit all over the place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Bring it around once more. That's 9 turns. We can feed that coax inside. And that is our coil. So with my 3D printed cap, we can now close the top up, use that string to pull the wire tight and put some knots in the top there. Tell you what, it might just be easier to fold it back on itself and throw some tape around it actually. Yeah, let's do that. So I've gone down and around, and I'm going to move it back up on itself. And just come around once more. We can also add that cap on the bottom end to one with no hole. It should just friction fit. Yeah, easy as that. Completely optionally, I'm going to wrap that coil in tape just to stop it from moving around at all. A little bit more protection to the coax, I reckon. Yeah, that feels nice and sturdy. Wrapped there in tape, yeah. Stops that wiggling around at all. I've got this awningy bit of the garden, I don't know if you can see that up there. And the, I keep collecting cobwebs. Look at that, oh. So theoretically, from there to there is the antenna. You could chop it off there and have it nice and short, use it the way a Flowerpot antenna is meant to be used, stick it in a pot, throw some fake leaves in it or whatever. No one's ever going to know you've got an antenna in the garden. But I'm leaving it on the entire pole so that I can use this almost like a mast, and it gets the antenna basically headline for me, head upwards. I think I cut this conduit down to 2.5 meters, so 2.5 meters up. Just gives you that little bit of elevation, which is never a bad thing. Last thing to do is to lob a PL259 on the other end of the coax, or a connector of your choice. My choice is a PL259, they're just so easy. So let's go do that. So we've got the antenna set up here. I'm hiding what we're holding it up with because that video may not have come out yet. There is a whole video there, but it's this antenna we're looking at today. And rule number 1 of antenna making, the antenna's never finished until you've tested the SWR. So let's get this on the Nano VNA. Fantastic. So I don't know how well the camera will see this. Yeah, the sun's not doing great. There's a lovely dip at 145,500. We're at 1.3. Yeah, all the way from, I don't know, what's the band? So 144 is 1.5. Dips down. The bottom 1 to 1 more or less is at 148. But yeah, that. The main range 145,500. We're at 1.3 to 1 and absolutely workable SWR. Obviously I've currently monobanded this. It's really easy to add 70. I believe you just need some foil sort of in the middle. I've got the markings on there somewhere for that, and I will probably do that at some point. But the event this weekend I made this for is a 2-meter event. It's 145 Alive. I'm going to be straight with you. It's 145 Alive. It's back again. Love that event. Obviously it's a 2-meter event, so there is no need for this to do 70. So today it's a monoband 2-meter antenna, but it should work well. Hope you've enjoyed this video. If you haven't tried making your own antennas before, a Flowerpot antenna is a fantastic starting point. Super easy. Obviously with the magic of video editing, this looked like a super quick project, but in reality, still only took me 2 hours. So if you want a little weekend project, you want to try your hand at building your own antenna, give this a try. I'll leave a link in the description to Mike M0MSN's video. It goes into way more detail, so much clearer with the measurements. I highly recommend you give it a watch. Thanks for watching, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. 73s.